Nike was almost broke. Then everything changed. Today, Nike is one of the most recognizable brands in the world. The famous swoosh is everywhere, on shoes, clothing, sports fields, and advertisements. But Nike didn't start as a global giant. It began with a simple idea: find a better way to sell athletic shoes. There were established competitors, limited money, and plenty of uncertainty. So how did a small sports shoe business become one of the most powerful brands in history? The answer wasn't just better shoes. It was strategy, athletes, marketing, and an obsession with building a brand. This is the story of Nike. Part 1. Before Nike. The story begins in the 1960s. A young entrepreneur and his former track coach wanted to challenge the way athletic shoes were sold. Instead of immediately trying to build a massive shoe company, they began by importing running shoes from Japan and selling them to American athletes. The business was small. Shoes were transported, sold directly to runners, and tested on real athletes. The founders were learning something important. They weren't just selling shoes, they were learning what athletes actually needed. Part 2. The big idea. The business eventually began developing shoes under its own brand, and that changed the game. Instead of simply selling someone else's products, the company could design shoes specifically for athletes. One of the biggest opportunities was running. Athletes wanted shoes that were lighter, faster, and more comfortable. The company experimented constantly. Different materials, different soles, different designs. The goal was simple: make athletes better. Part 3. The waffle shoe. Then came one of the most famous ideas in the company's history. A waffle iron inspired a new type of shoe sole. The unusual design could provide traction while keeping the shoe relatively light. It was a simple idea, but it demonstrated something that would become central to Nike's identity. Innovation could come from unexpected places. The company wasn't simply copying the competition, it was experimenting. Part 4. The risk. But building a major shoe company required money. More inventory meant more capital. More products meant more manufacturing. More sales meant more financial pressure. The company had to grow quickly while managing cash flow and competition. One wrong decision could create serious problems. The founders were taking bigger risks than before, but the potential reward was enormous. Part 5. The athlete strategy. Then Nike discovered one of its most powerful marketing weapons: athletes. Instead of simply advertising shoes as products, Nike connected its brand with people who represented speed, determination, and excellence. The message became bigger than footwear. It became, if you want to perform at your best, think like an athlete. That emotional connection would eventually become one of Nike's greatest advantages. Part 6. Michael Jordan changes everything. Then came a partnership that would transform sports marketing. Nike signed a young basketball superstar named Michael Jordan. The partnership created something much bigger than a normal shoe endorsement. It created a brand around an athlete. The Air Jordan line became a cultural phenomenon. Basketball shoes were no longer simply equipment. They became fashion. They became identity. They became collectibles. And Nike had discovered a powerful formula: great athlete plus great product plus great storytelling equals massive brand. Part 7. The swoosh becomes a symbol. Nike's famous swoosh became one of the most recognizable symbols in the world. But the logo itself wasn't the entire secret. Nike consistently connected the brand with emotion, determination, competition, courage, discipline, winning. The company wasn't telling customers, buy these shoes. It was telling them, become the person you want to be. That's a much more powerful message. Part 8. From shoes to global empire. Nike expanded beyond running and basketball, football, tennis, training, clothing, equipment, and eventually an enormous global retail and digital presence. The company built relationships with athletes, teams, and sporting organizations around the world. Nike wasn't just becoming a shoe manufacturer, it was becoming a sports lifestyle brand. Part 9. The business lesson. Nike's story teaches several powerful lessons. First, start small. The company didn't need to dominate the world on day one. Second, know your customer. Nike built products around athletes and their needs. Third, sell an idea, not just a product. Nike understood that people don't only buy shoes, they buy identity, emotion, and aspiration. Fourth, take calculated risks. The company's biggest breakthroughs required bold decisions. And fifth, build a brand people remember. A great product can make money, but a great brand can create loyalty for decades. Final message: Nike's journey from a small athletic shoe business to a global sports brand wasn't created overnight. It was built through experimentation, risk-taking, athlete partnerships, and powerful storytelling. The biggest lesson is simple: people may forget the product you sold them, but they remember how your brand made them feel. And that's how a small shoe company became Nike. This is Money Behind the Story. Subscribe for more stories about the money, strategies, successes, and failures behind the world's biggest companies.